Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Rectified Podcast. My guest today is Leeza Zurwick, founder of Happy Gut, which is a very special and different product. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me, Sandy.
Thank you for accepting to be a guest on the podcast. I would love to learn more about you, your journey, and Happy Gut. So tell me a little bit about Happy Gut. What exactly is your product?
Yeah, so Happy Gut is a fermented drink. So it is a probiotic, live probiotic drink, over 2 billion live probiotics in it. So yogurt
Wow.
has, yeah, it's really, really, really strong. So it's naturally fermented. And
Mm,
we grow our own cultures. So I'm sure you've heard of milk kefir before, but water kefir is something that's just been under the radar for many years. So I've brought it
yeah.
to the forefront and started our own grow operation where we grow the cultures and we sell them. And we also make the drinks in our full-fledged brewery.
Wow. Is there a difference between water kefir or like the yogurts and the milks and all of these other products?
Yeah, so milk kefir has a completely different culture that you use. It looks like a little cauliflower. So
Okay.
that's for fermenting lactose. Water kefir is used for fermenting just sugar and water. You can also make coconut yogurt with it because it eats up the sugars in the coconut milk
Mm,
or any kind of nut milks. So
yeah.
milk kefir is just for dairy. Water kefir
Yeah.
is for everything else.
Okay. I feel that it's a trendy thing nowadays. Like there's also the coconut ones that we're seeing everywhere, coconut kefir products. They're like a yogurty. It looks like yogurt, but it's not yogurt. But it has a lot of bacterial cultures in it, and it's good for the gut. But so it's the same thing as the coconut one, but it's in water format, right?
Yes. Well, but that's what they would use is water kefir grains in order to make the
Mm-hmm.
coconut kefir. So yeah, that's because fermented foods are making a really big insurgence
Yeah.
back into our lives, and they've
Yes.
been around for centuries. And probiotics are just really making a big insurgence back. So um, the coconut kefir, the water kefir, the milk kefir, kombucha, all those kind of fermented
Mm-hmm.
foods. It's really good to have all of them. It's like not just one specifically because they all have different strains
Yeah.
of live yeast and live bacteria.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you started in 2017. So you were like this is what I found out in my research. So you were like an early like you were much earlier in this than any other trendy brand that we see out there. So how did you come up with the idea? What made you actually say, "Oh my God, I need to start this thing"?
Yeah, so I had always wanted to make kombucha, and it was like an underground world. You had to know somebody who was making it in order to get this SCOBY. You weren't able to find it in stores and buy it. So I was at my
Mm-hmm.
sister-in-law's one day, and I seen something on top of the fridge, and I said, "What is that?" And she said, "It's water kefir." And I said, "What's that?" And she's just like, "Oh my gosh, all of us nurses drink it. We make it and we drink it. We work really late hours, really hard on our immune system, and this drink has
Mm-hmm.
been just making miracles for us." And so
Okay.
I took some home and started making it and couldn't find any definitive instructions. I finally got going with it, and I had been drinking it for a really long time. And then one night, the American uh, News Association or the American Health Association came on the news and said that water kefir now, not just water kefir, probiotics had been proven to be like the real deal, that they help your gut, that there's a connection between the gut and the brain. And that night my company was born because I had wanted to do something that was my own. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff, it cleared up my acne. It had caused my bloating to go down. I was working in special education. I didn't get sick for many years. And I mean, I'm around
Mm.
800 different germs a day.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was just like, there is totally something to this stuff. And so that was the night my company was born.
Mm-hmm. That's an amazing story. The beverage industry is not an easy industry though. So how did you get started, and like how did people find out about you, and like how did it, like just tell me your story on day one, let's say.
So it really started out with just talking about it on social media. Family and friends is where you typically start,
Yes.
and growing it regionally in our area in British Columbia. And I had the privilege of getting on Dragon's Den in 2018, 2019 actually. Yeah, so I was only a year and a
Yes.
half into business, and so that was really exciting for me to get to go on the show. Um, I mean, I didn't take the offers. I was still very, very green in the business, and they really
Mm-hmm.
played up on that. They really
Yeah.
had a good time with me. And so anyway, but that helps. Any kind of marketing
Yeah.
helps. So that was really
Exactly.
great. Yeah, and it's just been through, the world's really changed. Social media really helps a lot when you're
Yeah.
talking about something that's helping people. And we've had
Mm-hmm.
tremendous, tremendous help. Like our product has helped people so much that they're just so excited to share with other people. You need to try this. You need to try
Yeah.
this. Like, wow, has it ever helped me with my day to day? So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
proud of what I do.
Yeah. Did you have trouble figuring out like how to do, like you came up with the product, the fermented water and everything, but like the packaging, the cans, the branding, like all of these things. I know a lot of small business owners, when they get started, they have trouble with that, or they do things and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. They do prototypes, they do all sorts of things. Tell me about your experience with that.
So none of it was easy. I am a very driven person, and I persevered, and it's the little company that could. I worked really, really, really hard night and day. And yeah, there were a lot of setbacks. When you're working with fermented foods, they have a mind of their own. They're going to do what they're going to do. You cannot predict
Yeah.
how they're going to act or react. So even to this day, we still have times we're just like, oh, what happened? What went
Mm.
sideways? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really have been in over my head, I have to say, because you cannot control fermented foods. And
Yes.
so, the fact that I'm still here and that our future's looking so bright is just a testament to me not giving up. And we're
Mm-hmm.
bootstrapped too. So when
Yeah.
it's your own, you you're not going to give up. You're going to keep going. And when I started the company, it was really important that I came out strong. What I mean by that is that it was important that I had help with my graphic design, that I put
Mm-hmm.
money into it so that it came out looking really professional, really beautiful,
Yeah.
hiring a web developer so that it all looked like we've been
Mm-hmm.
around for 20 years, right? That was
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
important that I didn't look, they say, oh, just go start a Wix site and you'll be fine. No, if it doesn't run properly, people leave. They
True.
leave.
True. True. And if it doesn't, especially with online, if it doesn't look trustworthy, like it's a legit company, people don't put their credit card there. And they're like, this feels weird. This feels, like something is not right. Like they're going to take my money and, whatever, max out my cards and everything. So I completely agree with you. What about social media? Did you create the content yourself? You obviously started earlier, so it was relatively much easier also to be on social media than today with all this craziness happening around there. Uh, did you do it yourself, or did you have help also on that front?
Yeah, so I'm a very creative person, and that's my strength, actually. The sales and
Mm,
the creating the company is really where I thrive. So I actually really enjoy doing the photography and all the planning, all the recipes, and that part of it is what I really enjoy in the company. So yeah, no, it was me, and we eventually got a graphic um, a photographer, professional photographers in, and things like that. Um, but yeah, it's my strength, planning, organizing, and executing. Uh, but yeah, it's just been me, a lot of it for many, many, many years
Yes.
until I've been able to hire.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. Let's go back to the business side of it. How, like, when you started, did you, let's say, fund it yourself? Did you, other than the dragons, and you didn't take investments from them? How did you do that part?
Yeah, so I mean, my husband held the family together financially, or still
Yeah.
is. And I quit. Like, what happened was I was trying to do it as a second job. But what happened was once I started going into stores and selling my product, every store started saying, "Yes, we'd love it. Yes, we'd love it. Where have you been all our lives? People have been asking for these cultures for years." And we just, yes, absolutely. And suddenly I was like, "Oh my goodness, like there's a future here. There's like really something for me to grasp onto." So I took the chance and quit my teaching job and went full board into the company, never planning that there was this thing COVID going to happen. And that
Yeah.
was really, really, really challenging. But as I said, I didn't give up. I just kept
Yes.
persevering, persevering. I know there's a future. I know that functional beverages are the future. I know people are getting away from sugar. I know they want better gut health. They want better lives. And our product has all of that in it. And so I'm not giving up on it, even though I feel a lot of, like, I can say it's called PTSD, where a lot of the feelings are coming up in the last few weeks of what it
Yes.
felt like to be in COVID and that desperation of not being able to get things. How are we going to pay
Yeah.
for this? How are we going to charge this? Those feelings have been coming up again. And I'm just like, do I really want to go through this again? But you know
Yeah.
what? I made it through last time and I will persevere. I'll get
Yes.
through it. I'll get
We're
through
going to
it.
talk about that. We're not going to forget about what's happening now, but we're still like talking about what your product is, what we're doing, etc. So you told me that you were a teacher and then you decided to start your own company. But teachers, you don't, as a teacher, like you don't know anything about business or marketing or numbers or financial statements or any of that. So tell me a little bit more about that part of the story.
Yeah, so you are 100% correct. That's why they had such a great time with me on Dragon's Den because they could just rip me apart and tell me you are not a businesswoman. Like, yeah, right. Like they're laughing at me.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm determined. I went to my community futures that we have here. They have business coaches right from day one. When I walked in the door, I asked for a coach, and I've been coached all along through, the last 7 years of business. Very
Yeah.
fortunate, and anywhere I can get any help, I always, always reach out and ask. And I've learned, like, just through those different programs is what I've
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really really love that you were not afraid to ask for help. And from everybody I talk to on the podcast, the ones that actually survive, like that's why they're on the podcast basically, are the ones who were surrounded by the right people, because we can't do it by ourselves. We need someone to help us, whether it's for moral support, like a significant other or a family member or something, or coaches, mentors, or organizations. You don't have to spend money. There are so many like free also organizations that helps small entrepreneurs to get started and all of that. So I really really love the idea that you actually went and asked for help, and you got all these coaches like to help you out with your journey, and you were aware of your weaknesses and you worked on those things to be able to continue and survive with your business. Lisa, tell me a little bit more about your clients. What kind of people they are, and how do you get to them? Like, how do you reach them?
Yeah, so I'm going to call their ideal customer avatar that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a
Yes.
30-year-old woman who is a professional, who's into health, who loves to read health books, who loves to be outside during on their time off, exercising, cares about their health. And they are interested in putting good, healthy products into their bodies. And so what water kefir does is it's very low sugar, like 5 grams of sugar, and it's ready in 24 hours. So when you make it, kombucha takes 15 days. Water
Mm-hmm.
kefir takes 48 hours to make it fizzy like a pop. It's
Okay.
super fast to make. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it also has no caffeine. Kombucha is made from black tea, so it has
Yeah.
caffeine in it. And water kefir tastes way better. It's not sour and pungent. It's a much sweeter, like not much sweeter, but it's just a milder flavor. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's been really embraced by the health industry because it's really pleasant, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my biggest strength is, again, I go back to the creativity part. I have a newsletter that comes out every Sunday. So when you
Mm.
purchase our products, our kits to make it yourself, the DIY kits, or the cultures to make it yourself, every Sunday I have a very detailed newsletter that goes out with fresh recipes, health like tips about how this stuff can help you, and brewing tips on, if you're running into problems or issues.
Mm-hmm.
So our newsletter has over 5,000 people on it and growing all the time. So
Yeah.
that is my bread and butter. And I started that newsletter like right away when I first started
Mm-hmm.
my company. So, you start at zero, but you just
Yes.
keep building your momentum. I just call it a snowball, right? You
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
with a bit of snow and then the snow hits the ground and then you start rolling a snowball and then it just keeps connecting. And all of a sudden you have
Exactly.
this beautiful snowman, right? With this top
Exactly.
hat. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it takes a lot of time. It doesn't happen
Yes.
overnight. Yeah.
I love the concept of snowball because nowadays people I've heard this term microwave generation or something like that. I'm not sure of the term, but something that has microwave in it, and it means that people want immediate results, like in 2 seconds they want to heat something and then eat it quickly. Meanwhile, starting a business is never a microwave solution. Just like you said, it starts slow and then it grows. So I just really love the analogy. And I love the fact that you have the newsletter. We're going to link to it for people if they wish to subscribe in the description of this podcast. Um, what did the how does this newsletter help you other than having a 5,000 person community, which is amazing? And if they're there, they're really there for you. It's not like being 5,000 person on Instagram or on TikTok or whatever, because they're not looking at anyone else. They're really subscribed to you and the things that you're sending them, the content that you're sending them. So how do you use this newsletter to, or do you use this newsletter to grow your business or to sell more or to teach people? What do you do with it?
So I consider myself a master water kefir brewer because I eat, sleep, and breathe water kefir. So when I started the
Mm-hmm.
company, I was like, oh, I should do other kinds of fermented foods. But then it was just like, no, do one thing well.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane, do one thing well, and become the person that people turn to for any kind of advice they need and any help they need. So
Yeah.
we do have a microbiologist on our staff that works with us. So
Mm.
that's a really big bonus because he spent time it's called our grow up because we grow the
Yeah.
cultures and he works with us. And he's just really helped me solidify exactly what this stuff is all about and how to work with it. And so I call myself a master water kefir brewer. And so
Mm-hmm.
in my newsletter, I really make it clear that I'm here to help people. And that is my job
Yeah.
as a water kefir professional is to help. So I just totally let people know
Mm-hmm.
that any question, anytime. I'm the person behind the computer on our website, hello@happygutpro.com. And I'm the one who's one-on-one with you, helping you take the fear out
Mm,
of fermentation. Like there's a lot of
yeah.
intimidation around fermentation. People seem to think they're going to die if they
Yes.
drink something,
Or
but
like it's a scary
honestly,
thing. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah,
nobody's
yeah.
ever died from fermented foods. You can Google
No.
it. So, yeah.
Do you have people who reply to you on this newsletter with like their stories or like nice things that happened to them? Nice, maybe bad things, I don't know.
So about 80% of my emails in a day are people who are having trouble. No, more than that. I'm going to say 90 plus of people having trouble.
Okay.
But that's my job. I walk them through, okay, let's try this, let's try that, because everybody has a different environment. They have a different house, they have different bacteria in their house. They have different things going on. So it's each place, each person is an individual with their brewing. And so I
Mm-hmm.
totally respect that. And I work with them one on one to make sure that their
Mm-hmm.
environment, their water, their everything they're using is correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, when I do get like, oh my God, we love, the product, or this is the change we've had in our
Yeah.
body, or in my husband or whatever. I mean, that is the most gratifying part.
Yeah.
And sometimes people send some really um, you know, a lot of exclamation marks and this stuff doesn't work, it's garbage
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. I At first I took it personally, not anymore. I love those
Yeah.
people because you know what, I can turn those people around by saying, no, 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 let's fix this. Let's do it. Let's get
Mm-hmm.
it working. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to sell you something just to sell you something. I'm here to help
Exactly.
you be successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have like a story of something nice that happened to someone that you didn't expect?
I have some super fans that
Yeah.
have been with me since like day one, and have like, I have one customer, she has written out every single recipe that I've ever done by hand every week. She has this
Whoa.
giant recipe book, and so the beauty of water kefir is you can stop and start making it. So
Okay.
if you want to make it today and have a bottle in your fridge, but you're going away on holidays, you just stick it into plain water in your fridge. And then when you get back, you could make it again. Those cultures
Hmm.
can sit in your fridge for 3 months. So the cultures are reused over and over again. You only buy them once and then you reuse them over and over again. And
Okay.
so this one customer of mine that is like a super fan. She starts, but she
Yeah.
notices that when she stops within 2 weeks, she's just like, oh, my stomach gets very upset again every time I eat.
Mm.
So what water kefir does is flushes all the bad bacteria out of your system and introduces all new good bacteria. And you don't even realize it's happening because it tastes so good. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
How can this be good for me? Right? But you will notice if you drank 1 can a day for 2 weeks straight, after 2 weeks, first of all, during those 2 weeks, you're going to have a bit of a loose stool because it's
Mm-hmm.
flushing all the bad
Yeah.
stuff out.
Yeah.
So that means it's working. If you're having a
Mm-hmm.
bit of a loose stool, that means it's working. And then what
Okay.
happens is after 2 weeks, your body gets adjusted to all the good bacteria. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of those issues, people tell me all the time how much it's helped them and changed their world. They feel so much
Yeah.
better.
Pretty amazing. I love the idea of the cookbook, let's let's say
Yeah.
for the water. Maybe you should do that next. Maybe that can be
Yeah.
your next venture. um let's go to a serious thing now. You're a Canadian brand. You're based in Vancouver, right? In British Columbia.
In British Columbia,
And
yes.
yeah, in British Columbia. And there's a lot of things happening now with businesses and the economy and taxes and tariffs and all of these things. You, as a Canadian brand, how is the situation affecting you, or did it already affect you? Just tell me more about it.
So there was a lot of fear in the beginning in, let's say in November, when all
Mm.
these tariffs things were announced. There was a lot of fear around it, and I went and really did a lot of homework. So our cans are sourced from China, so there
Yeah.
will be no increases from our can supplier. We do have our juices, so and these juices, the orange, sorry, the lemon and the lime and the ginger, it's not something we can grow in Canada, so I do have to get it from
Yeah.
a different supplier. So as it stands right now, those things haven't gone up in price. But otherwise,
Okay.
we're actually really fortunate. We grow our own cultures, so we are
Yeah.
we're in charge of ourselves, and
Yeah.
so that's been really grounding for me.
Mm-hmm.
How am I handling it emotionally as a business person? At first, I was getting really kind of fired up. Again, like I say, the COVID feeling came back up again. But
Yeah.
as it's been going along, and we're already 4 months into this, the
Mm-hmm.
threat, and it keeps changing. I've had to just
Yes.
like let go, and just ride the wave, and just
Yeah.
we'll see. That's
Mm-hmm.
the way I'm dealing with it. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Do
Yeah.
you do you sell to the US or is it just available in the Canadian market?
So our kits and our cultures to make it yourself are sold on Amazon .com and Amazon
Okay.
CA. So yes, but we're actually winding down our US Amazon. There's a lot in Canada. Like I just want to
Yeah.
focus on my
Yeah.
country first.
Exactly.
We got a
Exactly.
lot to cover here,
Yeah.
and yeah, so we're actually in the process of winding down our
Okay.
Amazon.com.
All right. So we have a promo code for our fellow Canadians. You have a promo code for them if they want to buy your product.
Yes, absolutely. It will be Happy Gut 15 is going to be 15% off.
Perfect, perfect. Obviously, we're going to put all the details in the description of the podcast and we're going to link to everything related to you and your brand so that if people are interested in this type of product, they can go and they can get 15% off also shipped through your website, right? From BC, British Columbia.
Yes, yeah. And actually, just last week, we started a new
Mm-hmm.
division of our company because where we live in British Columbia, we have the most amazing water that comes right off the mountains. And
Mm-hmm.
so we've started a canned water company called Parched. And Parched is a new
Oh,
division of Happy Gut, but it's canned
okay.
water with some electrolytes in it. So
Ooh,
lots of minerals in our water already, and then we've added
yeah.
some pink Himalayan salt to it. So we're really excited. When you go on our website, you will see
I'm
on
excited now.
happygutpro.com. Yeah, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
first canned water company in British Columbia. So
Yeah.
really excited on the launch of it, and we have very, very nice fresh water. So
All
really
right.
excited for that division. Hmm.
Congratulations. And we're excited
Thank
for
you.
you too.
Thank you.
So you're going to have Happy Gut and you're going to have Parched on the same website, just for
Uh,
our listeners out there.
Yes, there will be a you can click to Parched. It's called parchedwater.com. So
All
that's where
right.
you can find Parched as
All right.
well.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Lisa, where can we find it other than or your website, or is it just direct to consumer from your website?
Basically, regionally in British Columbia right now is where we're growing. We're wanting to do bigger distribution. We're ready. We have our own full-fledged brewery. We have the capacity. We're just trying to expand further. But we do ship our cans all across North America. So
All
United
right.
States and Canada, everything is shipped. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa. This has been a pleasure. I am so like amazed by the product because I had never heard of actually kefir in water. So I'm so excited to have met you, to have learned more about your product, and obviously to all the listeners and the viewers, we're going to link to everything related to Happy Gut and to Parched in this podcast, along with the promo code of 15% off. everything on Happy Gut. And that's about it. Thank you, Leeza, for being a guest. And to all the listeners, I'll be back next week with a new episode.